Well, hey folks, this is John with Ozarks Backroads with you. We're here in the Ozarks Backroads World Headquarters garage today. I thought I'd do a quick video kind of on my take of the hard cases versus the soft luggage options. If you've watched the channel at all, you know for several years I've been running these GV Outback Trekker side cases, these hard cases on both of the bikes, the Tiger and the V-Strom, and I do like the cases. Recently I've bought a set of the Tusk side bags and the Pilot series, and I took a trip down to Arkansas with those, spent about 4 or 5 days with them, traveling around and camping. So I got a pretty good feel for living with the soft luggage on that trip. That's the first time I've ever used soft luggage. So I thought I'd just do a quick video on my opinions of the merits of the hard side cases versus the soft side cases and the soft luggage. So stick around, we'll take a look at some luggage options for your adventure bikes. I'm going to start with the hard cases, and we'll kind of go over the pros and cons on the hard cases, and then we'll move on to this soft luggage. Probably my favorite thing about the hard cases is how easily they mount and unmount off the motorcycle. The GVs, you have a rack on your bike, they just sit on the rack, click in, and that's it. They're mounted, and the same way to take them off, it just takes a few seconds. That's a really good advantage, I think. You don't waste any time. And also accessing the hard cases is kind of the same. You just unlock the lock, raise the lid, everything's right there, and you're good to go. They lock up as well. So if you're in a restaurant or something, and or in a Walmart or whatever, and you can't see your bike, you can lock up your luggage, and you don't have to worry about your contents getting stolen while you're in the store. They're also waterproof. That's another big plus. You don't have to do anything, have a liner or anything. They're just water. They have a seal around the lid, and you don't have to worry about them. You can ride in the rain. I take mine to the car wash and wash them off. They don't get wet on the inside. So that's a big plus as well. Of course, the big thing with them, I think probably the main take for most people is you have protection. You have hard protection for the contents of the hard bags. So whatever's in here, if you drop the bike, it's not going to get crushed or damaged probably. It's not going to get crushed. The boxes are going to protect your contents. For me, you know, I'm a kind of a clean freak. I like a good looking bike. I like to keep them clean. The hard cases are really easy to clean. When I take the bike to the car wash or wash it out here, why I wash the boxes at the same time. You know, no muss, no fuss. Wipe them down. You can wipe them down with a rag if you don't want to spray them off. So they're real easy to clean and quick. Some of the cons with the hard boxes, for me anyhow, one of the big cons is the boxes, when I load them up, they're not totally full, and when I get off-road on rough dirt roads or whatever, and the going gets rough, my contents are bouncing around and rattling around in these boxes. And I carry several cameras, quite a bit of camera equipment and electronics. It's not good to have your contents, your valuable electronics, especially your camera lenses, in here bouncing around, jumping up and down when you're off trail or on a dirt road or whatever. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Another con or disadvantage to the hard cases, whether it's the side cases or the top box, all the same, is the expense. As compared to soft luggage, the hard luggage is pretty expensive. One of these boxes, I think they're about $450 now each. So you're talking you're talking $900 for a pair of boxes. So that's, you know, that's something to consider when you're thinking about buying luggage for your bike. The third thing with the hard luggage, the hard cases, and this is kind of what sent me towards the soft luggage, or at least sent me to try the soft luggage. I'd never tried it before. But these cases, when you do drop the bike, the cases get damaged. If you drop the bike on a dirt road, or especially on asphalt or concrete parking lot or something like that, the boxes are going to take a pretty serious hit. Generally, they hit down here on this lower corner. On both of my bikes, they land right on this lower corner on the front of the box. Is when it goes down, that's what takes the impact, and the box will have to be repaired. Eventually, it's just going to crush in, and the lid's not going to work right, and you're going to start having, it probably won't mount and unmount properly, so it'll have to be repaired. I was out in North Carolina earlier this season, did a week out there, and I dropped this V-Strom in a parking lot, turning around on a slope, asphalt parking lot. Landed on that corner and crushed this side. It pushed it in, and the back panel wrapped around the side case rack, and it kind of jacked it up. So I ended up having to take the box apart and repair it. So if you're thinking about buying hard cases, you might think about that. I've got a little video here that kind of goes through what I went through to repair this box after this last drop. We can take a look at that. You can see the perimeter of this back plate is all rivets. These are stainless steel, 5mm stainless steel rivets. So I wound up just taking a grinder and grinding the heads off of all of these rivets on this back plate. And then this mounting piece here is all bolted in. Removed all the bolts from the inside. You can see the heads of them here. Little cap screws, so that all comes off, and then your plate will come off. And once I got the plate off, I was able to take a hammer and dolly and straighten out my back plate, get it straight. And then I had to work on this piece here. Was caved in this way and all bent up. I had to straighten it back up with the hammer and dolly as well. So this is the actual case that was damaged. This is the piece that was bent around the bars back here, and then this was caved in here on this piece here on the side of the front. Dollied all this out and this back out and got it all straight. When I went back together with it, I didn't have any stainless steel rivets, or those things are super hard and hard to work with. So I wound up, just went to Amazon and ordered an assortment of 5mm cap screws, different lengths, and some stainless steel cap screws, stainless steel nuts, and some stainless steel 5mm washers. So when I put all this back together, instead of using the rivets, I just bolted it all back together with the cap screws. But basically I just used copious amounts of black RTV silicone, and all my mating surfaces here for this back plate, a nice thick coat of silicone, and then put the plate back in there and bolted it all back up with these cap screws that I bought, and then remounted my hardware here for the latching and all. So that all worked out real slick. These things can be repaired, but it is a bit of a chore to do it. Well, that's kind of how it goes. If you have to fix your hard case, if you bend it up, it'll go something like that. It's not that big of a deal. Took a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours or so to do all that. I had to order some hardware, some cap screws and the nuts and washers and whatnot. So yeah, it was a little bit of a deal, but not a deal breaker. The first time I've ever had to take a box apart and fix it. I've had these for I think 4 seasons now. So it's not that big of a deal, but it may be something you have to do down the road. Well, let's move on. We'll talk about the soft luggage. We'll look at the pros and cons, what I feel are the pros and cons on the soft luggage. So on these soft side bags, now I have the Tusk Pilot Series side bags, but any quality side bag, they're going to be pretty similar, the way they mount and the way you use them. But the thing that I really like about these is I can put my contents in these bags and cinch them all up. And when I get on the rough surfaces and things get kind of bouncy and rough, my contents aren't bouncing around inside my bags. It's held secure in there, so there's no rattling or stuff jumping around in my bags. And to me, that's a big plus. It really irritates me when I'm going, you know, I'm out on a trail or a dirt road or something, and I can hear my cameras or my stuff, tools or whatever, jumping around in my hard cases. It irritates me. So I really like that aspect of the soft luggage. Of course, the other nice thing about the soft luggage is if I drop the bike, I'm not going to bend up my soft bags. I might scuff them a little bit, possibly, or get a scuff mark on them, but I don't have to deal with repairing the bags unless if you're going at speed and you dump the bike, well, yeah, it may rip it up. I don't know. I've never done that, but generally for me, it's, you know, I drop a bike in parking lots are my nemesis. I very rarely drop a bike on the trail when I'm out, you know, off-road. It's almost always something stupid on a gravel parking lot or on a hill in a parking lot or turning around or something like that. It's not going to damage my bags. The third thing, the big pro that I feel on the soft bags is the price. You can buy a whole set, both bags, for about half of the cost or almost half of the cost of one side case. So it's a big difference in price. If you're looking at luggage, you'll see that the soft luggage can be, I mean, you can spend a lot on them, but you know, you can get decent luggage way cheaper than going with the hard side cases. Now, if we move on to the cons, the things that you know, the negatives, I guess, or in my opinion, negatives on the soft cases. To access these, you have to unhook. They're roll top, so you got a buckle on either end, and then you got a cinch buckles here, so you got 4 buckles. To get in, every time I access these, I have to undo these buckles, unroll the top, to get into my contents inside the sack, and then the same thing, roll it all back up, snap it all back up. So that's kind of a deal. When I first went to use these, the first trip, I thought, man, this is horrible, having to deal with all these buckles and snaps every time I want to get into my bags. But as the week went on, I got pretty quick at it, and towards the end of the week, you know, I didn't even think about it, and I got pretty quick at it. So it's a con, but it's not that big of a deal, and you know, that's up to you how you feel about that. But I think the more I use them, the quicker and easier it's going to be. Mounting and unmounting these side cases, that's a big con in my book. These go on in a matter of seconds. It takes a while to put these bags on. You have to run straps around your side case rack, top and bottom, and cinch it all up. So there is some work there to mount these up, and it takes some time. But you know, I know on my trip, I didn't unmount the bags the whole trip. They stayed on the bike, and I didn't take them off until I came back home, you know, from the trip to clean them, is when I took them off. Whereas these hard cases, if I was out on a trip like that, I might, you know, unsnap them and stick them in the tent or in the alcove under the tent where they won't get wet or something. But I won't be taking mine off when I'm out on a trip. They're going to stay on the bike till I get home. There's also, of course, with your soft bags, there's no protection, crush protection, or, you know, if you drop the bike, your contents, these things don't really, they'll keep it from getting scuffed, but, you know, they can get crushed. So I've been running my cameras and my electronics. I got a side loading Tusk dry bag, and all of my camera gear go in this dry bag. So things that can get crushed and broken, I'm going to put them in this, and pretty much just tools and survival gear and stuff is what I carry in the side cases now, and all my electronics I'm carrying up here. So you don't get the crush protection from the soft luggage. Another con to the soft luggage, and at least for this soft luggage, and I looked at quite a few different options in soft luggage, and not many of them are waterproof without using a waterproof liner, putting your contents in a waterproof liner and then putting that in the bag. So they're not waterproof on the outside by themselves. You do have to, they do come with, or these came with the waterproof liner. The contents go in the liner, and then you roll the liner down. It's a roll top liner, just like the roll top bag. So I roll my liner down and clip it up, and then roll the bag down. Then my contents are protected. So there's a little more fussing with it. You can, I mean, it's waterproof, but you do have to use a liner. So that's something to think about. The final con that for me on the soft luggage is they're hard to clean. They're not like you can just whip them off, set them down at the car wash, and spray them off. You have to unmount them off the bike, which is kind of a deal. So I'm not going to ride the bike to the car wash and then unmount the soft luggage and then hang it up and spray it off and then mount it back up. What I wound up doing is after this last trip, I just took the luggage off the bike when I got home, threw it in the back of the Jeep, and then took the Jeep to the car wash. And then I hung the bags upside down on the little clamps for hanging your floor mats up and spraying them off. I hang the side bags upside down on those, spray them all off, turn them around, spray off the back, and then shake them off best I can after I'm done washing them, throw them back in the car, and then take them home. So they're harder to clean. You can't wipe them down with a rag when you got all that dirt and trail dirt and dust and grime on them. They need to be sprayed off at the car wash, cleaned properly. So they're harder to clean. So those are kind of the pros and cons, in my opinion, between the hard and the soft side cases, or hard and soft luggage in general. So everybody's different, what they carry, or things that they carry, whether they're can be broken or crushed. It's going to be up to everybody to decide what's right for them, how you ride, where you ride, what you take with you, all of that. Well, folks, I'm going to wrap it up there. That's kind of my take on the hard versus soft luggage for your adventure bike. I hope you found something interesting there, or at least something to think about. I invite you all to come back and see me. We'll go somewhere and do something else. Till I catch up with you again, y'all take care of yourselves. We'll catch you next time.